Welcome to types of quantitative variables. So just a quick reminder, quantitative variables are variables whose responses are expected to be numbers. So with the responses expected to be numbers. These typically come from either a count or a measurement. So they're usually a count, answering the question, how many? Or they can come from a measurement. And that distinction, a count versus a measurement, is actually precisely how we classify our quantitative variables. So discrete variables are quantitative variables that come from a count. Major thing here is that it's impossible to hit all of the decimal values. So if we're counting how many siblings you have, it's distinct numbers. You don't have 1.03 siblings. But mainly you can think of it as just the discrete variables come from counting. So some examples would be number of people in the household, number of pairs of shoes you own, both of these answer a question, how many people live in your household, how many pairs of shoes do you own, versus a continuous variable or continuous variables. These are also quantitative variables that come from measurement. The reason these are called continuous is because theoretically, if we have precise enough measuring tools, you could have any decimal possible could happen. So if we're talking about, for example, someone's height, when we measure height, right? Usually we measure it in inches and we maybe go to the nearest quarter inch. But theoretically, if you have a precise enough tool, you could measure to and say someone is 64.37928 inches tall. So it's continuous because you can hit every value theoretically in between the counting numbers, not just the counting numbers themselves. So height, weight, time to complete a task, these are all considered to be continuous. So from here, I think I already actually used one of these. Our job is to classify each of the following variables as categorical or quantitative. And then if it's quantitative, we can determine if it is discrete or continuous. So we have height, eye color, and number of siblings. height and number of siblings both should have number answers. So these are both quantitative. On the other hand, eye color definitely does not have number of responses. The responses are colors. So this is categorical. If we look at height, height comes from a measurement. So this should be continuous. Versus number of siblings comes from a count. So this should be discrete. So in module 11, we were looking at probability distributions, and all of the distributions we looked at so far where we had the table of values and probabilities were for discrete variables. In this module, we will now, or in module 12, we will now focus more on continuous variables.